Why won't you just take your issues to the American people? Why are you trying to hide your plans that are connected to Trump's Project 2025 publicly, but then you come to the House floor and you bring this extreme MAGA Republican voter suppression bill that is part of the blueprint of Trump's Project 2025. You can't fool the American people. They're smarter than you think. You don't want to have a real debate about issues. Why? Because the extreme MAGA Republicans want to criminalize abortion care and impose a nationwide ban. They're trying to hide that now from the American people, stripping it from their convention platform. We know what you really want to do.
All right. Welcome once again to the Beatzilla PDX official show. I am your host, Beatzilla PDX officially, and this is the Midweek Report News Break edition. We are talking about Fearaganda, aka Propaganda of Fear, and Project 2025, which is what they have been heavily promoting. It's on everybody's lips. As of today, though, they really had to let everybody know really what the purpose is. And I've been staying tuned. I haven't been able to upload any broadcasts. So you haven't heard my spin on what's been going on and what I've been paying attention to. However, I've been watching this Project 2025 deal. And number one, when I first saw Ayanna Presley as the forefront face of this movement, I knew then this really doesn't have anything to do with us. It's not even a useful tool of fear mongering against us. This is something that they have to use us for someone else. And as now things have turned out, we're starting to see what that actually is. So the Fearaganda tactic is failing before everyone's eyes, before even probably some of these paid shills have got a chance to even cash their checks, shoving Project 2025 down our throats as if we need to worry about going back in chains. And when it comes down to that, my question to you is, are you going? And with that being said, like I said, this is the Midweek Report, Beatzilla PDX official show. I am your host, Beatzilla PDX officially. And if you could kindly hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. if you are watching here on YouTube. And if you are watching on X, get over here to the YouTube channel, hit the subscribe button, and let everybody know that you are tuned in to beatzillapdx official by sharing this on your Twitter, or X, shall I say, if you are watching over there, and let everybody know that we are live. And also, you can, when you subscribe over here at this YouTube channel, the beatzillapdx official channel, make sure you hit the notification bell, hit the word all. That way you'll be notified anytime this channel goes live or a video is uploaded. And also, if you would like to go even further and support this channel, you like the content here and would like to see more, well, then you can also become a member by hitting the join button. And if you hit the join button, you will be a member, and you will see a badge by your name like those in the chat. And those that are members understand there are certain things that come in the members only area, as well as videos will preview, especially uploads or premieres, rather, will preview in the members area before they air to the public on most general uploads. So with that being said, of course, this is a tape delayed broadcast, so you are not watching me in real time live if you were in the chat. But I salute everybody who was tuned in this evening, and peace, power, blessings, and protection be up on each and every one of you and yours. Thank you so much for tuning in. With that being said, so having, been, kind of not able to like broadcast or anything, watching everything that's going on, seeing how Project 2025 is coming out and we need to worry about this and that. Y'all need to know what's in it. And they really have tried to push it as if Black folks need to gravitate toward that more than any other group. And for me, this was one of those things that when your intuition says, wait to see who else comes out to push this as a narrative. And lo and behold, when you start seeing the different faces who are popping up talking about Project 2025, you should start to understand, oh, well, there's a correlation here. It's not to us. It is using us usually as the prop or the mule of the energy that they're trying to promote. In this case, there's two things that we have literally pushed back against. Illegal immigration, which happened day one. Joe Biden came in office with his executive pen. And now, again, you know what he told us? So let's be clear. When they want to say, well, no, man, we need to worry about this, this Project 2025. Oh, really? Listen.
This country is doomed. It is doomed, not just because of African Americans, but because by 2040, this country is going to be minority white European. Hear me? Minority white European. And you guys are going to have to start working more with Hispanics, who make up a larger portion of the population than y'all do.
So while selling so-called Black leaders, those do-nothings, selling them folks as if our community and them need to start worrying about the plans at hand, which that's all about enhancing a system of supremacy or an order of financial deprivation and economic deprivation of one said Black community right here, us descendants of slaves, foundational Black American freedom, the like. And when you see these different type of individuals who have came out, especially with these Black politicians, these are folks that will never utter the word black, but they will come and fight for every other group. They'll advocate super duper hard. Joe Biden had the opportunity to address Black America in his State of the Union address. He has nothing to say, but they propped up old Joe long enough for him to make this little quick PSA.
Project 2025 will destroy America. Look it up.
Now, for those of you who did not see the very first video I played at the beginning of this broadcast, and you are tuning in right now, I will refresh everybody so we'll go forward from here with everything we have to talk about this evening. So again, starting with Frankenstein himself, here is Hakeem Jeffries.
Why won't you just take your issues to the American people? Why are you trying to hide your plans that are connected to Trump's Project 2025 publicly, but then you come to the House floor and you bring this extreme MAGA Republican voter suppression bill that is part of the blueprint of Trump's Project 2025. You can't fool the American people. They're smarter than you think. You don't want to have a real debate about issues. Why? Because the extreme MAGA Republicans want to criminalize abortion care and impose a nationwide ban. They're trying to hide that now from the American people, stripping it from their convention platform. We know what you really want to do.
And meanwhile, also another thing that they are on Capitol Hill doing is this.
Have all members voted? Does any member wish to change their vote? On this vote, the yeas are 221, the nays are 198. The bill is passed. Without objection, the motion to reconsider is laid on the table.
There is a war on Capitol Hill to make illegals eligible to vote. Now, this has been an ongoing crisis that we have talked about as a problem, but we see that it has been a Democrat agenda against the Black community while using these little black talking head shills to come out here and try to shame us. Joe Biden gave an absolutely horrible performance in the debate. And remember when they were talking about cheap fakes and people were manipulating the videos and he wasn't lost. I addressed that, right? Then the debate happens and he looks absolutely lost. Now the representative from my state, or I believe Senator actually, Ron Wyden, has actually asked for Joe Biden to step down. However, he's just doubling down and like an ornery old grandpa. He is electing to say, no, screw you. I'm going to die in this seat if I can. So he's not pulling out of the race. And, you know, we are seeing what residual effects it's having within this party, who, might I add, would not be in this position had it not been for benign neglect. Had benign neglect not been the policy of the Democratic Party towards foundational Black American freedom, then we would have to look at this outcome completely different. But refusing to talk to Black folks' demands and debts that are owed, the overabundance of hate crimes caused to one group, while you only make it about other groups who can only make a fraction of a dent in the number that affects Black folks. This is absolutely why you are in the predicament you are in. There are white folks out here now. I saw the woman on the Young Turks. She was talking about how she's tired of being lied to. She's tired of giving support for nothing, and tired of being forced to take bad candidates. And see, here's the thing. The grassroots have spoken on this, and everyone else is listening. So I hope you understand right now, today in NATO, they are now trying to get positive, creative influencers, or get social media influencers to positive or clean up or make good the image of NATO. Now, when that happens, you might want to pay a little attention to that as well. Why would NATO be concerned about social media influencers? So there's a lot to be considered and wrapped up in that question. I hope that everybody could do their due diligence and just ponder those on your own validity and understanding, and then look for more. That's all I'll say. Always gain clarity in whatever you do. But there's another problem. We have presented the couch as a great alternative. And these typical bootlicking shills want to come out and say, well, y'all don't need to worry about no tangibles. All that stuff is crazy talk. Well, here's the other thing. This is why these two pictures are on your screen. You have to be some kind of dumb and crazy to look at Joe Biden in the condition he's in and say, I don't care if he was in a coma. We are getting to the utmost we sick boss of it all. And this is what it looks like, truth be told. And I've been saying this for a while, and I told y'all this was going to come. But, you know, when folks get a little nervous, they get a little nervous when something pricks at their spirit, tugs at their heartstrings, and lets them know, hey, going down this road, the way they see it, you might end up like this.
No medicine, there'd be no mayonnaise. No medicine, there'd be no mayonnaise. No medicine, there'd be no mayonnaise. No medicine, there'd be no mayonnaise.
So understand. A lot of people, I get it, you know, be like, hey, these folks gonna get uncomfortable. Yeah, they might. Yeah, they might. Oh my goodness. But, you know, let me see if I got what I need in here. So let me see something here. Okay, yes, I do. So Maxine Waters did an interview. You know, the Essence Fest just passed. That was the Tetherpalooza 2024 Shield Conference. Right before that, you had Taraji P. Henson going out there doing her little spiel to BET Awards, integrating Black culture and Black excellence with voting for Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. Yeah, which is absolutely insane. You know, and it's funny. I will say more people reference Kamala Harris as Black than she herself does, if you guys haven't noticed. But nonetheless, Maxine Waters, you know, told y'all that, hell, she's older than Joe Biden. And I guess you're supposed to look at that, and that's supposed to make you feel good and feel better that all of these old Negroes would rather die than move over or groom people younger than her that can carry the torch for the future. These are the signs and the makings of a person who has wanted to always long be a roadblock to the future of her community. Pay attention.
We're now at a point in time where people are talking about Biden is too old. Hell, I'm older than Biden.
You look good, Congresswoman.
And I get up every morning.
All right.
And I exercise.
All right.
And I work late hours.
All right.
I take care of black people.
All right.
Trump has told you who he is. He defined himself. He is a no good, deplorable, lying, despicable human being. And he's talking about if he doesn't win, there's going to be a bloodbath. There's going to be violence. There's going to be a civil war. Who the hell do you think he's coming after? Who's going to be targeted? Who is he talking about? But you know he means business because he is the one that led the invasion on the Capitol January 6th. Now, do we have to talk about the difference between these two? Now, I want to tell you, no matter what anybody says, it ain't going to be no other Democratic candidate. It's going to be Biden, and we better know it.
And you need to understand that you were losing on that hill. Yes, indeed. And rightfully so. The arrogance of it all. To take the people for such granted that you think you are entitled to support to people to whom you refuse to support. And what the heck is she talking about? I help black people. What do you do? People of Southern California, I ask you, Maxine Waters, is she the person to whom y'all could say has made life better in that area for black folk? If she is, then I stand corrected. But there's another thing that she also...
We're now at a point in time where people are...
Another thing she did... was she also just went and told some falsehoods herself. By the way, not everything she just said was true and accurate. And see, that's where we start getting into tricky issues. You know what I'm saying? People got to understand, man, this is politics. And I know folks, even with these artists, and you got to understand that with entertainment, there's a certain, I guess, there's a certain scenario or situation that they might find that will put them in a position to, like, say, these artists that go perform at these political events. Me personally, I don't necessarily think that's the best route to get things done. I do understand that some of these folks are desperate, so the amount of money that these people will pay might be such a bag that will be very hard to turn down. But then at the same token, what are we saying? Are we saying that there is a price for selling out empowerment? If that's what we're saying, then that's what we're saying. But, you know, when I seen E40 over there, don't. How are you doing? Tell me when to go at a Biden event. Like, what? And then now they're trying to adopt Not Like Us. It's insane. And I guess Busta Rhymes also trying to come out with a remix of Not Like Us. All of these things that we have witnessed to attack even our history coming from the Democrats. This isn't coming. This whole thing about hip hop and who invented hip hop and all of this, and even black music, R&B, and they blues and jazz, and they you got people coming all out the woodworks trying to claim creation for black music. Where do you think that's coming from? So again, why isn't that being addressed? Again, also from the Democrats, why isn't the fact that black folks by about 3/4 far outnumber every other group in hate crime statistics? That's insane, and no one's speaking on that, but we just need to shut up and vote? I don't think so. And then, we'll see the absolute dementia of it all right before the world's face, but you'll have black folks come right back into your face. And this is my problem with black folks and tethers. They'll do this thing to where we'll see what's not working in our favor, but because they are so loyal to their supremacist system that they tell you this is the best thing since sliced bread and I'm sticking with it. And I'm going to get out here and I'm going to lie for it. Just like this.
There's no question that international travel can be rigorous. I think the confusion is that he's still suffering from the effects of that nearly 2 weeks later. So can you articulate a little bit about, do you guys usually have accommodations for him after he does a trip, that he's going to have jet lag for that long a period of time?
So can you, when you say 2 weeks later, what do you mean?
Well, the debate, he arrives back in the United States 12 or 13 days before the debate. So his explanation for a poor debate performance is jet lag.
So what I want to say is it's the jet lag and also the cold, right? It is the two things and that occurred. And you all heard it in his voice when he did the debate, right? And it is not even something that we shared ahead of time. You heard it in his voice and we confirmed it. And I think that's important to note as well. It is the jet lag and the cold.
And within 24 hours, there he was on stage with all the little energy and whatnot. And then the very next time you see him, he was discombobulated again. Man, if y'all don't stop it, folks have not watched people grow old. Now we're getting into just fairy tale land because you are blatantly ignoring what everybody has already probably witnessed in their life with their own family members. I know I have. I've had a grandma with dementia, Alzheimer's. I know exactly what that looked like. So it's very interesting that, well, it's not interesting. It's just routine and normal, but it's sad and shameful that this is the case. Also, with these folks, you over here trying to get illegals the right to vote. This is another slap in the face to black folks. So again, why would black folks be looking to vote for these people? These are the people who are undermining us. Now, here's my problem with some of these shills and these vote blue no matter who Negroes. These folks, the baby boomers, these people do not look at themselves, which they should. They should firmly look at themselves as selling out their young. I know they'll justify what they have done with whatever cause they will say they were using it for, but it was not about empowerment. And when you go so far away from empowerment, you get stuff like this.
No, because we don't have time. I have canvas and I have canvas and I put doors and I have 1 million t-shirts. I believe that he's ready, and I'm excited about the fact that he does have someone who's competent that's behind him. So I feel like we need to just rally behind him at this point. I don't believe that was okay, Joe, you could have done better, but it's not, Joe, we don't want to take you to November. Because I feel like we would have a problem coming in at this point and pulling up someone else. We have canvassed door to door, not only Saturdays, but throughout the week. And we have done a lot support this candidate. And I believe that that's what standing behind someone means. If I'm telling you, I will be the first to say, if we needed to just change the t-shirts, burn them all, I would be the first to say. But I do believe today, he really changed some of our minds today. We had a watch last night, and we were kind of, oh wow, Joe doesn't seem to have the same energy. But today, he had no script. And, each and everything, every platform message, everything he said, the content was right, the character was there, the spirit was there, and the honesty was there. And I'd rather have that any day than a candidate.
They're already trying to change and redefine the 94 crime bill. But this video footage will never go away because it's literally history, the reality and the truth of the crime bill and who it was targeting. Remember where predators and super predators come from. And these people are over here, I'm just going to do it. I'm going to just ride with Biden no matter what, because it makes sense. He ain't done nothing for black folks, but, we just going to do it. And now I'm seeing things that are talking about Biden's trying to shore up the Latino support. And, well, how ain't he got the Latino support when he let all these illegals in here? Oh, well, because the flood of illegals in here isn't just Mexicans. A lot of these people are coming from other countries and continents. And so they have let all kind of folks off up in here. And that's what's happened. But, they're upset with Project 2025. One of the things that Trump has literally talked about, and that doesn't necessarily have to be connected to Project 2025, but that's how they're doing it. Because Trump already said he wasn't entertaining a national abortion ban. What he was saying, he's going to leave it up to the states. He already said that. So he hasn't threatened of an abortion ban unless he's changed his stance on that, and I haven't seen it. But last I heard, that was his stance. As well as mass deportation. Well, a lot of us were asking for that. And they're upset. The Democrats are upset about that. They're trying to get these people who should be deported the right to vote in this country. Absolutely not. And this is another reason why these people's destruction is happening to themselves for these crazy ideas that they have ran with for so long that are now bearing their fruit. And the fruit is poison. And now they're eating all of their own poison from their own hands. Don't blame black men. Blame the Democratic Party, its shields, and everybody else who has blindly supported the blue no matter who notion and nation, because y'all can solidly hold that L like this one here.
Has spoken to the president over the weekend. I have spoken with him extensively. He made clear then, and he has made clear since, that he is in this race. The matter is closed. He had reiterated that this morning. He has reiterated that to the public. Joe Biden is our nominee. He is not leaving this race. He is in this race, and I support him. Now, what I think is critically important right now is that we focus on what it takes to win in November, because he is running against Donald Trump, who is a man with 34 felony convictions that has committed 34 felony crimes, and not a single Republican has asked for Donald Trump to not be the nominee. I'm here to win on this democracy. I'm here to win in November. And what's critically important is what I believe that the president needs to do, and I have communicated this, what the president and the White House should do in order to make sure that we win in November. And that is making sure that we pivot and working and increasingly commit to the issues that are critically important to working people across this country. How are we going to expand Medicare? How are we going to expand Social Security? How are we going to provide relief to people's rent and mortgages? And if we can do that and continue our work on student loans, secure a ceasefire, and bring those dollars back into investing in public policy, then that's how we win in November. That's what I'm committed to, and that's what I want to make sure that we secure.
What do you say to members who say right now?
Now, very, very interesting. You know, she goes out of her way to not really say anything about the base. Of course, American people. He's having issue with. They're talking about him having an issue with black voters. At this point, it's time to start talking to that base. If you're not talking to that base, then continue talking to the masses of the invisible people to whom you keep referring to, because we only respond to our names being called. And right now, as this election is looking between Joe Biden and Donald Trump, I think that black voter base that continues to go ignored is choosing to vote to benign neglect, because a lot of us already understand this.
How can black people rise up and overcome?
Get out and vote?
That is incorrect. I'm sorry.
So, something I want to go through is they're doing a lot of talk about, oh man, Project 2025 and blah, blah, blah. Well, when you have these black folks who will gladly sell other black folks out, then they'll allow tethers around, so much so to where now tethers can be called black, even if they could be on paper as a Caucasian or mother identifies as Caucasian. There's nobody black around there, no black on any paperwork, but can qualify. And so for those of y'all who don't understand, a lot of these Indians have played that role. They straight up Indians, but have posed as black folks to get into college. Kamala Harris obviously is cosplay, because you can't find black. There's no American black nothing. And she often does this weed thing. What she need, but one thing I did notice today she went before her folks, and I actually was going to play some other audio from the typical fear mongers like Joy Reid, some of the other talking heads, but today, it just so happens that the 71st Boule little sister girl gathering was taking place. Soaring together. So let's see what the keynote speaker, because I want y'all to understand, this right here is heavy, because this is coming from the Boule. This is the orders of the day. So don't let nobody else come at you later after this saying, oh, this ain't what the agenda. If they are tied to one of these Boule organizations, one of these Greek organizations, they already got their marching orders, and here is their keynote speaker. Yeah. mighty black.
Good morning. Oh my goodness. Please have a seat. Please have a seat. Oh, my heart is full.
Uh-huh.
To our Supreme Basilisk, Danette, Anthony Reed, thank you for your leadership, your kind words, your friendship, and all that you do. To the members of the Directorate, to my dear friend, Dr. Glenda Glover, and to all Supreme Bacilli, thank you for your years of leadership and mentorship. To my line sisters, the 38 jewels of iridescent splendor. Oh, you are such an incredible part of my journey, and I love you guys. Thank you for being here. And to all those who serve Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated, it is an honor and a joy to be with you today.
I would have to wonder and ask, just out of curiosity, there's a lot of people who probably have benefited, some people even probably established from being affiliated with this boule, families being affiliated with this boule. But at what point? Well, I guess there is a point. See, here's the thing. These people take oaths, and these oaths are taken very seriously amongst their society. That's why it's so serious that they even take on other deities, but that's another conversation for another day. My point being, at what point will Black folks be more important than joining something that will cause you to be loyal to something outside of your community? And that's something that I guess parents need to teach their children. Steer clear of these organizations. I know I was very much taught that as a kid. Stay away from these organizations, for real.
Before I begin, I will say a few words on Hurricane Beryl.
We're gonna go on.
Sorors, as many of you know, this sisterhood has been a part of my life since my earliest days.
Listen.
Starting with my aunt, Miss Christine Simmons, who was initiated in 1950 at Howard University.
Have these folks been tethering that long? Did you hear that? Christine Simmons. Christine Simmons. Yeah, we need to look that one up. Christine Simmons. Like, I guess that's her mother or her daddy's people, right? That's I don't know. Christine Simmons. Yeah, I'm trying to see. She made reference to her, and I'm trying to find, like, there's no pictures of Christine Simmons, so it's kind of hard to find. But that just tells me. And number one, mind you, I'm sure Christine Simmons was probably identifying as Jamaican as well. So again, getting hit with the tether clause here. There we go.
And from 1978 to 1981, she served as Basilisk of Alpha Nu Omega chapter in Oakland, California. And in fact, one summer, Auntie Chris hosted one of our revered founders, Miss Norma E. Boyd, who was then 93 years old. And Miss Boyd gave me her book, A Love That Equals My Labors.
Now, let me just tell y'all, and everything she's saying right now, I'm not sure if she's been fact checked on this, but the statement is on. It is on the actual government website as well, in full. But it's very interesting. She's talking about Christine Simmons, and but she's brought her up before. I guess even back as far back as 2022. So this isn't new, and it's funny how she goes off and still brings it up. But I guess that's part of their legacy. But nonetheless, that's just more.
Which she signed to Kamala with love, Norma E. Boyd.
Yeah,
Won't change. 08, women were not guaranteed the right to vote. There was not a single Black person in the United States Congress. And that year, 89 Black Americans were lynched, and that was just the number that was documented. And yet, despite all of this, and perhaps because of it, our founders believed in the power of sisterhood and service.
Wait, what? It wasn't Black women out there being lynched. I'm confused. How did we jump over all those Black men that were lynched about voting? Those are Black men being now. Don't get me wrong. Now there were Black women who were lynched. Better believe that. But what I'm saying is the lead candidate was Black men. So that was a very interesting jump.
And our founders believed in the promise of America.
Oh. Whoa. Former slaves believed in the promise of America. I would love to hear that justification. I would love to hear that justification. How would former slaves believe that? Well, when everybody enjoyed their freedom, their ancestors, them and their relatives. I mean, you're talking about, some of them and their recently deceased relatives were property. How are you believing that? So again, this is the reason why tethers don't speak for us. And this is a tether in a high place, and she most definitely does not speak for us. And not only that, she's up here in front of you getting it wrong.
A promise of freedom, opportunity, and equality.
How the hell would slaves have that? And that's what they believed in the founding. Are you kidding? That is idiotic to think. Like, that is saying that these people were not, that's almost saying that these people were not harmed from the conditions that they were just recently facing. What is she talking about?
Not for some, but for all. For generations.
Black folks were the only people to thrive. What do you mean, not for some, but for all? Oh, see? And this is who we're supposed to go with? She's up here in front of Black folks, talking about Black folks, talking about some universal garbage.
In furtherance of the vision of our founders, we have fought then to realize that promise from our...
The vision of the founders is that Black people were considered to be property and have no rights that any white man was bound to respect. Matter of fact, you have rulings that Black people weren't even completely human. This is the reason why tethers don't speak for us. because there's things that we just inherently know because it is in our DNA. And that's the reason why people who do not share our DNA should not be representing us nor being passed off as us, as Kamala Harris has been up until now.
Creation of the Mississippi Health Project in the 1930s. To job training and literacy programs in the 1960s and 70s.
To backdooring your own community by pushing eugenics and Margaret Sanger's plan on black folks. So, you know, that Mississippi Project and subsequently that Negro Project, you know, and some people also, you know, subsequently have said and speculated long that Jim Jones, not the rapper, but Jonestown, and how that thing went down was a government operation as well. And for those who weren't aware, it was a lot of these women who blindly follow the Democrats, who were blindly following Jim Jones. And y'all seen the result of having them women. That's who he had next to him. If you want to know, that backbone of Jonestown was those black women. That's real talk. So we have to look at how some of these folks get down. And these people don't look at their age as their date. Because, and when I say that, I mean the difference between generations. You may have some young old heads around you that are thinking like these people here on this stage that have thoroughly thrown black people down the toilet for a few crumbs and butter biscuits. This is who you see now, ski-weeing it up and not really thoroughly delivering tangibles to their community.
70s. And then most recently, of course, the work on voting rights and economic opportunity and child hunger. Throughout our history, the leaders of Alpha Kappa Alpha have stood up, spoken out, and done the work to build a brighter future for our nation, including, of course, in 2020, when during the height of a pandemic, you helped elect Joe Biden President of the United States.
What a win.
And me as the first woman elected Vice President of the United States.
Uh-oh, did y'all catch that? She's in a room full of sister girl ski-weers. What did she just say? She said the first black woman, right? She said she was elected the first black woman in a room full of black women because it's Black Women's Day, Black Girl Magic, right?
Alpha Kappa Alpha have stood up, spoken out, and done the work to build a brighter future for our nation, including, of course, in 2020, when during the height of a pandemic, you helped elect Joe Biden President of the United States. And me as the first woman elected Vice President of the United States.
There's our issue right there. They're up here screaming as she overlooks black women to say women. And it ain't nothing but black women in the room. And I say often as well as others, when they say women, that absolutely excludes black women. So what she did in a room full of black women was did not relate herself as one of them. Instead, she is relating on a soror basis and level and wavelength. She's not as a black woman in front of, so don't let these folks see she was bringing it, because I'm sure Roland Martin will be, man, these fools out here. Listen, this is what they're supposed to do. This is the business of politics. But this is, there are going to be people like me to look at this and break down the con, because there's a con to be watched and peeped, and they're running it very heavy right now.
And it is because of your work and your support that we have been able to then fill our administration with incredible leaders,
Oh, boy.
such as Shalonda Young, Soror Shalonda Young,
Woohoo!
who is the head of the most powerful Office of Management and Budget. She controls the money. And of course, a member of our sorority. The promise of America. The promise of freedom, opportunity, and equality for all people. You know, when we first took office, the president and I knew that to realize that promise, we must address long-standing issues, some issues that people just don't like to even talk about.
Oh, Lord.
We
Like
decided
what?
we must, for example, make healthcare more affordable, because the reality is that access to healthcare should be a right and not just a privilege of those who can afford it.
Yeah, well, it's been working that way in other countries for years, but this place, being a capitalistic society, has elected not to do so. The funny thing about that also, though, they keep boasting of how they fought big pharma and whatnot, which is a joke. No, they actually did big pharma solid by making sure they made record profits during the pandemic. I wonder by what? Oh, maybe it could be some of these caravans we've seen out here of cars lined up in rows and rows and rows. So maybe that's how all this money was being made. It's just amazing. It's amazing to me.
We decided to look at specific communities that have been long suffering on specific issues then.
Oh, word?
Including diabetes.
Oh,
So
right.
we decided to address the cost of insulin with the knowledge that Black people are 60% more likely to be diagnosed with diabetes.
So you worried about the medicine for diabetes, but didn't worry about the cause of diabetes. Shouldn't finding a cure for being diabetic like that in this community, isn't that what all this other research usually goes for? What she's telling you is, oh, we did something because we put some money into your ailment. That's not helping you. I mean, it may help you out in the long run, and a lot of that, you know, is diet oriented anyway, which, you know, let's just face it. Some people have very shabby diets and eat like animals. So, you know, you'll put anything into your body and they're wondering, you know, why your foot is numb. It's like, because you don't eat any vegetables. You don't eat any fruit. You don't drink water. There's people out there like, oh, man, all I drink is pop. All you drink is soda? I think you'd probably be better off being an alcoholic. You'd probably running around the same, actually. I mean, good grief. But I don't know. I mean, some of these folks, I just see some people's just eating habits. It amazes me. Well, you know, we had McDonald's for dinner. Really? Man, no, I gotta go get this medicine. Yeah, I'm sure you do. So, yeah, when she's like, oh, yeah, we are working on the price of insulin, you need to be working on instilling something in this community. That seems like that could be a communal program, a program targeting communities and for better health overall. But if we're disproportionately affected, then how about a lift all health plan? Nutrition, a push in the nutrition aspect of it. Because right now, how can you have a good diet if you're not having access to fresher food, better food that isn't processed, unprocessed food? How are you going to better out? That to me, would be a much better fix. And then that also trickles down into single people and families, because it goes across the board, because everyone has to eat. So if you can get better quality groceries for a real reasonable price, then that in itself would be probably curbing a lot of the disease we're looking at. And if you look at television right now, let's not worry about diabetes just alone. There are so many different elements out here, because I see more drug commercials for pharmaceutical companies than I see commercials for Charmin. Let's just keep it a buck.
And we took on Big Pharma
Yes,
and
we
capped
did.
the cost of insulin for our elders at $35 a month.
And then hit them on the back end with the other line across the country of folks lined up to put money into Big Pharma's pocket. So Big Pharma made out like rats while she over here talking about, man, oh yeah, we fought them while we gave them all the cheese on the back end.
We knew to realize the promise of America, we must address the issue of student loan debt.
And they over here screaming, that what are you talking about? Oh, that has nothing to do with protection against anti-Black violence whatsoever, or Black communal economic deprivation. But let's hear it.
And I know there are many here who have benefited from that work. Please testify. And we...
Wow, that sure got quiet. Please testify. That got quiet. So I guess a lot of them in that room have not benefited from these so-called breaks and cuts.
We have forgiven debt for nearly 5 million people so far.
They ain't got that debt forgiven.
Much for our public servants, including our nurses and our teachers and our firefighters.
Mm-hmm.
The president and I have also taken on the issue of medical debt, finally making it so that medical debt, which is usually the result of a medical emergency, is not something you plan, it's not something you invite, but we have made it now so that medical debt can no longer be used against your credit score.
That's a good thing. Yeah, that's a good thing.
Because that credit score, of course, is supposed to measure whether you are responsible financially or not. The fact that you have endured a medical emergency is not a measure of that. And so it was just wrong, and we have corrected that.
I can agree.
To realize the promise of America, we have addressed the long-standing crisis of maternal mortality.
By pushing abortion. Literally by pushing abortion.
Something, as you know, I've been working on since I was in the United States Senate. Why? Because women in America die at a higher rate in connection with childbirth than women in any other wealthy nation in the world, and Black women are 3 times more likely to die in connection with childbirth.
Well, that's very interesting considering how we're in such a wealthy country. Why are all of these Black women so unfortunate in such this wealthy condition? Where is the onus being put at, and where's the money to fund understanding that disparity? Where's the studies that are showing doctors and hospitals that have the mortality rate? Like we should have these numbers by now, as much as they talked about this, right? I'm just saying that there should be something from the White House that shows us this mortality rate. Since she's up here saying it in front of the Boule, there should be something of a report somewhere of these statistics of deaths linked to maybe insurers, pharmaceutical companies, lack of insurance, by economic status or whatnot. All of these things probably should be out here, because if we're going to talk about it affects black women more than any, well, then we need to be getting some answers to solving that problem. And I haven't seen one that you guys put studies and everything. So why hasn't that kicked off? I'm just saying.
So to address this crisis, among the work that I've done, I challenged every state in our nation when we first came in. I challenged every state in our nation.
Mm-hmm.
And I challenged them and said, extend Medicaid coverage for postpartum coverage from the measly 2 months a year that you've been doing to a full year. And I am proud to report that when I issued the challenge, only 3 states offered a full year of coverage.
Let's be clear, postpartum is especially when it's like referred to postpartum depression, that is not tied to the mortality rate of medical possible malpractice or something going wrong with the pharmaceutical situation during childbirth or recovery after. This isn't taking any of that into account. So how did we jump over mortality rate to this? Y'all gotta listen to this trick language, and she's very good. There's a clip that's like almost 5 minutes long of her just repeating the exact same thing over and over and over again. It's crazy. So yeah, you got to take all of this to account, and just no.
Now 46 states offer a full year of coverage. And today I am announcing for the first time, we have created national health and safety standards for maternal care. For the first time, national standards. Which means nearly every hospital in our country will soon be required to provide new mothers with delivery rooms that are fully stocked with life-saving medical equipment.
Okay, so we're getting to a suggestion without understanding the cause. So there seems like there was some things that was missed in the information being given. You know how they often talk about this administration sucks because of their messaging. It's just kind of interesting that she kind of, in her own speech giving, is skipping over very much key factors. But hey, what do I know?
It's the first time. So sorors, all of us here are clear. While we have come a mighty long way,
oh my goodness,
we have more work to do. Across our nation, we are witnessing a full-on assault on hard-fought, hard-won freedoms.
Here it is.
The freedom to vote. The freedom to be safe from gun violence.
Okay.
The freedom to live without fear of bigotry.
That's sexual preference, rather. So you understand where that's coming from. Oh my goodness! See how she went into the spiel, ladies and gentlemen. Don't miss it. She goes right on in. Yeah, you know, our freedoms, and everybody has the right. Black people are at the highest. And like I said, 3/4 over the rest. But nonetheless, she's trying to talk about the one group that's really not already. Matter of fact, last time this administration got in office, they immediately put a bill in for that other group. So you guys took care of that day one. That's not a promise you're fulfilling to anybody over here. But see, here's the reason of why she's in front of this group. This is the boule. So, like I said, This is the marching orders, family. So everything that they're pushing, they're day one tomorrow. This is the script.
And hate. The freedom to love who you love openly and with pride. The freedom to learn and acknowledge our true and full history as America.
Wow.
And the freedom of a woman to make decisions about her own body and not have her government tell her what to do.
And there is the real fear behind 2025. That Project 2025. The reason why the Democrats were up in arms is because that benign neglect policy, the anti-black policy of the Democrats, has been thwarted by the black grassroots, and they are at wit's end trying to make sure they can pull out all stops to keep support. However, at this point, things have gotten so bad that you have Democratic pundits that are looking at this ticket saying Joe Biden needs to drop out, let Kamala go into the convention and duke it out with some other newcomers, and then they can make a solid decision there. And that is an opportunity. And we'll see if that takes place. But this is where things stand. So she's out here drumming up that Boule support. So this is the orders of the Boule. We can't let them usurp her. But remember my last broadcast. She's already planning, if she's in the position, to not pick a minority or black candidate. But yet she's going to the old standard, just like her husband, a white man. And that will be her choice for VP.
And these are not only basic freedoms and rights. These are the pillars of our liberty.
Oh, abortion is a pillar of
our democracy. And
abortion is the pillar. These are pillars to democracy? No. Well, in all actuality, let's break that one down. Abortion is a pillar of democracy, but abortion is introduced as in the Negroes, basically the Negro Project. So addressing Negro numbers is how abortion becomes into play. And here is the Democrat saying the one thing that the United States government actually funded and again attack this community with, I'm going to stand here as a tether and further push that on you. And I want you other black bootlicks to get out there and continue to do the same. Push self-genocide in the black community while we promote the sexy reds and all of this other drill rap madness about death, sex, and recklessness. And then that'll force so many people to understand why they need to fight for abortion.
The promise of America. On that last point about the attacks we see on reproductive freedom, understand how we got here. Then President Donald Trump handpicked 3 members of the United States Supreme Court, the court of Thurgood.
No, the court of white supremacy. The United States Supreme Court was put in place to uphold white supremacy. So that court has been white supremacist from its inception.
Because he intended for them to overturn Roe v. Wade, and as he intended, they did. Now, 2 years later, in the South, where the majority of Black women call home, every state except Virginia has a ban.
So once again, the important thing for you Black women is run around, twerk and pop your coochie, be reckless, don't use any protection, and just worry about being FNF after you whacked out your little one in your belly. And then we'll put you on TV and call you the hottest thing going. Or you could be a tone-deaf, talented, rhythmless artist like Sexy Red. You're my everything. It's amazing that people actually are singing that. This is how far the bar has fallen into the abyss. And once again, when I say abyss, this woman here, I played this because, like I said, I wanted to play some other things, but Kamala Harris is enough. This is coming from the top of the DNC. And this is what their fear of Project 2025 is actually about.
Many with no exceptions, even for rape or incest. Now, we all know one does not have to abandon their faith or deeply held beliefs to agree the government should not be telling her what to do with her body. If she chooses, she will talk with her priest, her pastor.
Yeah, let's actually, side note, every last one of you members abandoned that when you took on another god. But, you know, that again, like I said, that's a conversation for another day.
But it should not be the government replacing her good judgment with its own. Faith and freedom can coexist. And understand the former
faith and freedom in historical terms definitely did not come by way of passive, boule, mushmouth, do nothing, bootlicks. That is absolutely not how that's happened. So that's a gross comparison, Madam Vice President.
The former president wants to pass a national abortion ban.
He said, that's another thing. He said he doesn't. He said he wants to leave it up to the states. So there again, they keep pushing. Watch for these lies. And that's the point. If he said it, he said it. But if he didn't, don't lie on somebody and then come out here and say, well, Trump just lied. Okay, what lies did he tell? Because right now, you're telling a lie that is a clear lie, and we could point out that you're lying. So I need to see the same on the other side, if that's the case.
Abortion in every single state. But we will not let him. We will not let that happen. We have worked too hard and fought too long to see our daughters grow up in a world with fewer rights than our mothers.
She getting energetic and emphatic about baby deleting. And this is the party that you saying is truthful and honest? I guess.
America must trust women. America must honor individual choice. America must defend freedom. And when Congress passes a law that restores the reproductive freedoms of Roe, our president, Joe Biden, will sign it. And there is so much at stake in this moment. Including last week, when the Supreme Court basically told this individual who has been convicted of fraud.
The funny thing about that is, though, and I don't want y'all to get caught up on the person. What the Supreme Court told you is any president. So this is a rule for all presidents. It's not a Donald Trump ruling. It is a rule for all presidents. So this Supreme Court is well aware that a Republican, Donald Trump, may or may not be in the office for the next 4 years, but that 4 years will come and go. So that means the person who's after that, whatever party they're from, still has those same rights. So let's not get caught up on this. The fear mongering, the fearaganda is seriously ferocious here.
That going forward, he will be immune for activity we know he is prepared to engage in if he gets back into the White House.
Uh-oh. Fear.
Consider.
Dun, dun,
Donald
dun,
Trump has
dun,
openly
dun,
vowed
dun,
if
dun.
reelected, he'll be a dictator on day one.
Y'all believe that? He openly vowed that he'd be a dictator on day one. Wow.
That he will weaponize the Department of Justice against his political enemies, round up peaceful protesters and throw them out of our country.
That right there, wait a minute. You can't round up peaceful protesters and throw them out of America when the peaceful protesters are American citizens. The only people who can be rounded up and thrown out of the country are illegal aliens, illegal invaders. Those are the people. And yes, we use that word illegal over here because they are here illegally. They may not, their life is not illegal where they are. But where they are right now is in America, and they are here illegally, making them illegal, making them criminal trespassers, by the way.
And even, and I quote, terminate the United States Constitution.
That would be impossible, but let's go.
What's more, Trump advisors have created a 900-page blueprint of their agenda for the second term.
Mm-hmm.
They call it Project 2025. It includes a plan to cut Social Security, to repeal our $35 cap on insulin, to eliminate the Department of Education and end programs like Head Start. So let us be clear. This represents an outright attack on our children, our families, and our future.
I don't think deporting illegals is an attack on our future at all.
And all of this is to say, I do believe this is the most existential, consequential, and important election of our lifetimes.
Wow.
Sorors.
Put it on thick.
Sorors, this is a serious matter.
The call to arms, ladies and gentlemen.
So in this moment, once again, our nation is counting on the leaders in this room to guide us forward.
Did she say it or did she not?
To energize, organize, and mobilize, to register folks to vote, and to get them to the polls in November. Because we know when we organize, mountains move.
Oh.
When we mobilize, nations change. And when we vote, we make history.
Oh, boy.
So I'll conclude with this. For 116 years, the members of our sorority have been on the front lines of the fight to realize the promise of America. This year, let us continue that work. Let us fight for freedom, opportunity, and equality. Let us, as always, fight with optimism, with faith, and hope. And let us see it through. Because when we fight, we win. God.
Oh, Lordy me. Gobbledygook, gobbledygook. And that is that, ladies and gentlemen. So if Project 2025 was really such a concern, do you not think that she would have more to say about it? And again, I'm telling y'all, we already know what this is about. Project 2025 is not about us. It's about abortion and it's about illegals. Because the two things that could be done, and Trump has been on board with, is mass deportations. And then, of course, they'll push it and scare you. And no, he wants a mass abortion ban. He already said he was leaving that up to the states. And right now it's up to the states. And that's what's happening on an individual state-by-state basis. What they want is to override the states and say, this is what we're going to do. But like the video I played at the very beginning of this broadcast, let me again remind you the other issue that they're holding on to about this Project 2025. So do not get caught up in it has something to do with black folks and they'll be putting us back in chains and they'll repeal the 14th Amendment, 13th Amendment. Stop it. No, this is about illegals and abortion. Just listen.
Why won't you just take your issues to the American people? Why are you trying to hide your plans that are connected to Trump's Project 2025 publicly, but then you come to the House floor and you bring this extreme MAGA Republican voter suppression bill that is part of the blueprint of Trump's Project 2025? You can't fool the American people. They're smarter than you think. You don't want to have a real debate about issues. Why? Because the extreme MAGA Republicans want to criminalize abortion care and impose a nationwide ban. They're trying to hide that now from the American people, stripping it from their convention platform. We know what you really want to do.
And that right there, ladies and gentlemen, show you the two double sides of their coin. Project 2025 Fearaganda is about this looming mass deportation of these illegals if Trump gets in office, and then also no federal abortion law, because there is no ban. So what they're doing now is just scaring you with a ban, and that's pretty much where it stops, because nothing more has been said about that. But let the Democrats go ahead and overhype you and fearmonger you to death. What we're going to do over here is mind our own black business, because we've already told y'all what it is, and we are voting no to benign neglect. So if you all say, well, you're okay, this is what black folks have long known.
How can black people rise up and overcome?
Get out and vote?
That is incorrect. I'm sorry.
And then you got these other folks, man, Kamala Harris is this. Well, yeah, this is Kamala Harris.
So I'm not going to sit here and say I'm going to do something that's only going to benefit black people. No.
And we've already seen it. She ain't doing nothing. And they're doing everything against their power to do something for us. And so if these people come over here talking about, oh, we need to, first off, the first question you need to ask,
where's your family from?
And because, see, they might have ulterior motives, and some of these folks may be in dark skin, but might be coming from these Venezuelans and these other South American countries or these foreign countries, and they coming over here getting their cash on, bringing all this dope and trafficking and all this other stuff they got going on here. All of these gangs they've imported, because this has been Joe Biden's policy against black America. And all of these folks have came over here open wide, calling back home saying, come on up and bring the yayo. So for all of y'all who have came out here still trying to scream on black folks, and for all of you who will try to scream on black folks, this 2-pack of sauce is just for you.
Sambo, Sambo, Sambo.
So don't let these people tell you that this is some kind of Jim Crow thing. It's not. Illegals should not be voting, and the only reason why they want illegals to vote is because black folks are demanding tangibles. And so with that being said, no tangibles, no vote. You ain't talking about a black agenda, then don't talk to us. All we could say is Babylon is fallen. Babylon is fallen. Let it fall and let us rise. Can you dig it? Ah, Lordy me, Lordy me. Family, we're going to have to be on our toes coming up for these next few months here because it's about to get really, 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 really serious. And I keep stressing that to y'all, especially those of you who don't even post videos or anything like that, but you're active out here in these social media streets. They are aware of even combating your thought and your notion of empowerment, because at this point they are looking at empowerment as being an enemy of their agenda. And for all intents and purposes, it is, because our empowerment is not tied to any party's success. There's been a lot of brain dead Negroes that still think that way. And we are not of that ilk or class. This is a different group. We are way more politically astute and mature in our thinking and belief and movement. Now, of course, no movement is perfect. Nobody is perfect. With that being said, we don't have to be coons. And we don't have to be bootlicks. And we do not have to be sellouts. So for all of you who believe we do and say I'm wrong, well, then I speak for myself, beatzillapdx official. The beatzillapdx official show. Those of you in the chat, the Black Grassroots, Voices of New Black Media, I think it is safe to say I speak for all parties involved when we proudly dedicate this song to you.
Get up off of that cocaine and get up off of that crack. Get yourself together and get your mind back.
Yes, indeed, family. Thank y'all once again for tuning in to the beatzillapdx official show. This has been the Midweek Report. Hopefully you guys have already came over here. If you're on X, and subscribe to the YouTube channel. If you're watching on X right now, make sure you come over to YouTube. Hit the subscribe button at the beatzillapdx official show. Hit that notification bell. Hit the word all. That way you'll be notified anytime this channel goes live or a video is uploaded. And again, like I said, hit that like button. So with that being said, family, you can follow me on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter at beatzillapdx. And that, when I say Twitter, I also mean X. You can email me at ourrealtruth@gmail.com. And if you feel so inclined to support this broadcast, you can by putting some money in the bucket at CashApp, $beatzillapdx. That's CashApp, $beatzillapdx. And we got PayPal, which is Zilla Muzak. That is ZILLAMUZAK at PayPal. And so, with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, we have came to a conclusion of another evening. Hope everybody is well, and hope that you enjoyed this broadcast. Hope that you guys got your notification bells on. And also, never forget, hashtag hands off our reparations.
You have no rights here. We're not under the empire.
Stay black, stay vigilant, stay alive. Black first, black first, black first. Shalom, y'all.
When you know who Satan is,
Yes, sir.
you don't have to kill him. No. The stone of truth. See, that's what you throw.
Right, right.
Allah says, had we wished to take a pastime from before, surely we would have done it. Nay, we cast truth at falsehood till we knocked out its brains. Every one of you that knows the truth, stand up and tell it from the mountaintop. Black people can't take it no more. So wherever you are on the job, in the factory, I don't care where you are. If you know the truth, stand up on the truth and tell Satan, who the hell are you to try and pick my friends? Farrakhan is God's man, and you are from the enemy of God. So to hell with you. Stand up on it like a man.